right, good morning to those in the Philippines as well as Southeastern Asia, mainly including portions of Vietnam, Cambodia, as well as Thailand and Laos. Also, maybe we're going to be seeing some viewers from Taiwan, as there could be another system after Kalmaegi that could be threatening portions over there, and mainly portions of the northern Philippines. We will be discussing both of these threats in this live stream. If you have any questions that you'd like to have answered, I will answer them towards the later part of the stream. So you can leave those questions in the chat. Hi, Richui. I see you in the live chat there. Hi, Typhoon Lover. Always great to see you two back. So now let's get into the system. Okay, so we're going to be first discussing Typhoon Kalmaegi, also known as Tino in the Philippines, which is currently rolling through the Negros Island region and is about to make landfall in western Visayas. If it hasn't already, looks like it may have made landfall almost in western Visayas right now. Yeah, it's looking like it's making landfall right now in western Visayas, and it is going to be moving through the island there and then moving through Mimaropa, including northern Palawan there, and just south of Mindoro there. And then it will be moving through as a typhoon and then intensifying to a major Category 3 typhoon. We are expecting some slight weakening before it makes landfall in Vietnam. Looks like a Category 2 landfall is now being forecasted for you there. It will then be moving through Laos as a tropical storm and then being a remnant low by day 4 and should be dissipating right after day 4. So we're going to be tracking the system for an additional 4 days from now. So now let's get into the impacts. This is currently for this system. We're not talking about the system after this. This is currently Kalmaagi's impacts. We'll discuss the next system's impacts in a little bit in this live stream. But first, we're going to be discussing this system, Kalmaegi. So marginal impacts for majority of Mindanao there, northern portions of Mindanao. It does include eastern Visayas, Caraga there, as well as portions of the entirety of the Bicol region, a large portion of central Luzon, the Cagayan Valley, and parts of the don't know how to pronounce that. And then including areas of central Luzon and Mindoro also included in that. All in that marginal category. It does also include portions of Hainan Island, a majority in fact, a majority of Vietnam excluding the northern portions. Same goes for Laos and eastern Taiwan or eastern Thailand in that marginal category. Majority of Cambodia and again a majority of Vietnam in that marginal category. Now, stepping it up to the slight impacts, since the system is moving away from portions of the eastern Philippines there, including eastern Visayas, they're no longer included really in that region, mainly only the western portions. Central Visayas is included in that region, and the Negros Island region and western Visayas are included as well. And that category does go westwards for Mimaropa, including Palawan there in Mindoro. There is also a slight risk or slight impacts expected for portions of Vietnam, southeastern Laos, southeastern Thailand, eastern Cambodia as well, all in that slight category. Stepping it up now, looking at moderate impacts. Where is expected to see moderate impacts? Well, it does include a majority of the central Visayas region, mainly Cebu. And it does include Negros Island region as well as western Visayas there in that moderate category. And then going towards northern Palawan is also expected to see moderate impacts. And then a corridor here of portions of Vietnam and far southeastern Laos are expected to see moderate impacts, maybe far northeastern Cambodia. Now, stepping it up to the possibility of major impacts, we have mainly two areas to be watching here. One in the Philippines, which does include areas of Palawan, and it does include portions of western Visayas there, and Tique. They're in that major impacts possible category. There is also another area in the the farthest eastern portions of Vietnam there, highlighted as well. This is mainly going to be a rain threat, whereas the one in the Philippines or in Vietnam is a mixture of rain and wind. Okay, now let's discuss the world of tropics right now, since there's little going on, but all of majority of these systems are kind of impactful. We of course have Melissa still lingering on by Iceland and Europe there. Meandering as a remnant or as a post-tropical cyclone, extratropical storm should dissipate soon. Winds are down to 45 miles an hour. The Western Pacific, we of course have Typhoon Kalmaegi there. Winds are beginning to weaken, but it is expected to re-intensify by the time it hits Vietnam. We also have Invest 90W here with a 60% chance of formation over the next 48 hours and a near 100% chance of formation over the next 7 days. That system is going to be moving towards the Philippines. We also have a disturbance here over Myanmar with a 20% chance of development over the next 48 hours, and those chances will be decreasing over the next day or so. Alright, now I want to look at some of the satellite imagery here. Here's a look at the visible satellite imagery on Kalmaegi, also known as Tino in the Philippines. And it is moving through the Negros Island region, and it is moving potentially just to the south of western Visayas there. It is expected to continue moving to the west there towards Mimaropa, but overall the system's not looking too bad. It's a little bit sheared on the eastern side, so we are seeing some of that low-level circulation. Starting to pop up on more of those satellite imagery here. We do see continuous bands to try to form on the western side there and southwestern side. Other than that, though, it's kind of lopsided more so on the western side. Pulling up infrared satellite imagery here, and we can see bursts of convection are now starting to refire as it moved over water briefly as it was moving from central Visayas to the Negros Island region. So we are seeing more bursts of convection fire. The system is maintaining typhoon status, and it may actually maintain typhoon status by the time it nears Mimaropa as well. It all depends on what that core is going to be looking like by the time it enters the South China Sea. Just how quickly is it going to try to intensify. I would like to pull up some satellite imagery on 90W here, seeing what that system's looking like, since this is an update on that system as well. I did want to mention, though, the code system. We are currently code purple, the highest code level for Kalmaegi, and we are code orange for 90W still. Looking at the satellite imagery of 90W, and it does have a healthy low-level circulation there. You can see it spinning around right over here. Now, the thing is, though, the convection hasn't really been able to sustain over it, so that's what it's been lacking. It's been lacking a lot of convection there, but over the next 48 hours or so, these diurnal cycles could allow for some convection to sustain over that center, and we could be looking at a tropical cyclone over the next 24 to 48 hours. I would not be surprised. We're getting a lot more convection firing right now. Again, though, there's a lot more convection to the southern side of it. It is a little bit sheared, but overall, it is going to be organizing. Looking at the sea surface temperatures of Kalmaegi here, very warm, around 29 to 31 degrees Celsius. It moved over a pretty warm pocket as it was moving through the Visayas region. It is going to cool down a little bit, so around the 29 to 30 degrees Celsius mark as it's moving towards Palawan. Then it will begin to cool down slightly more in the South China Sea. Looking at the other environmental conditions, looking at wind shear. Wind shear has gone down quite a bit, but it is expected... Wait, this is not the right thing. Let me refresh this. Apologies for that. There we go. So yeah, wind shear has been down quite a bit, but it is expected to peak out over the next 2 to 3 days. Really, as it's entering the South China Sea, wind shear is going to be increasing for the system. Sea surface temperatures are going to be dipping down, but they're not going to be too much of a problem. Dry air, not really a problem at all. Very moist throughout the next 5 days. So again, it's mainly going to be the fact that shear is going to be increasing and sea surface temperatures are going to be decreasing that are going to be a problem for it by the time it makes landfall in Vietnam. It is still expected to make a landfall as a Category 2 or 3 strength system, though, in Vietnam, so this isn't anything weak over there. And now let's take a look at the latest RAM-B diagnostic on 90W, seeing what the environment's looking like on this system. So let me go to model data if I can pull any of this up. Yep, this should work. Yes, there we go. Okay, so man, this is not looking great at all. I mean, not looking great for the Philippines, but in terms of the storm, perfect. In terms of wind shear dipping incredibly low from November 6th to 7th before beginning to steadily increase. Sea surface temperatures, never a problem over the next 5 days. Dry air may begin to become a problem in the 5 to 7 day range, but really the system is going to be bombing out over here, potentially to Category 5 status. A lot of these, really all three of these models here, the American run, the HWRF run, and the the HAFS A model run, all want this system to become at least a Category 4 over the next, that would be around the next 5 days. So again, this could be a major problem for portions of the Philippines. Now let's look at the distances from certain areas. Let's start off with Kalmaegi or Tino, seeing how far away that system is. Let me see if I can do this properly. Yes. Okay. So in terms of distances, it looks like it's over western Visayas right now. The southern portions of western Visayas, it's around 300 kilometers away from making landfall in Mimaropa, around Palawan. It is moving away from the Negros Island region, around 40 kilometers away from you there. Cebu City is around 156 kilometers away, and Tacloban is around 280 kilometers away. Now, looking at portions of, let's say, Manila, they're around 470 kilometers away, and Vietnam, where it's expected to make landfall, now down to 1,500 kilometers away. Laos and Cambodia looks to be around 1,700 kilometers away, and Thailand is around 1,900 kilometers away. Now, let's look at 90W, where that system is, and how far away it is from certain land masses. So, Guam, it's around 400 kilometers away from you there, or I'll do that in miles, my apologies. So in terms of distance from Guam, it's only around 240 miles away from you there. And going now towards portions of the Philippines where it could be making a landfall, and portions of, let me scroll up here, in Aurora, it's roughly around 2.4 thousand kilometers away. In the Cagayan Valley, same story for you there. So again, you have a lot of time to watch the system. Bicol region's around 2050 kilometers away, and eastern Visayas around 1900 kilometers away. Again, you still have plenty of time to watch the system. I don't think impacts are expected to begin over the next 5 days. It is going to be mainly in the 5 to 7 day range, though. The worst impacts looks like. The Babuan Islands are around 2,500 kilometers away, and the Batanes Islands around 2,600 kilometers away, and Taiwan is around 2,700 kilometers away. Hong Kong's up at 3.4 thousand kilometers away. In terms of Metro Manila, you guys are around 2.4 thousand kilometers away from the system. Now, let's go over the model runs here. Let's start off by looking at the higher resolution models on Kalmaegi or Tino. Looking at the HWRF model run, it does have it weakening a little bit further as it moves through western Visayas, but it quickly intensifies before it makes landfall in Palawan and continues to quickly intensify before briefly weakening before it makes a landfall in Vietnam there as a Category 3 strength system on this model run. Going towards the HAF's A model run and what it's forecasting, again, it is forecasting some weakening as it moves across western Visayas, but then it will re-intensify some before making landfall in Palawan. Does intensify quite dramatically to a Category 3 there, makes landfall as a Category 3 or 2 strength system before then dissipating over Thailand. Let's see, is there any other models on here? I don't think so. Okay, now let's look at the high resolution models on 90W. Looking at the HWRF model run, it does have it fairly organized. I think it's overdoing its organization as of right now in terms of its initialization. It isn't looking that great just yet, but it does have it rapidly intensifying to a Category 5 over the next 5 days, and we can zoom out to see where it's located compared to the Philippines. Alright, so here's a look at its forecasted track over the next 5 days, and you can see it is making a beeline towards the Philippines. There is a Category 5 strength system, at least on pressure there. 9/10s in the millibars there, quite low for this system, not just a minimal Category 5. Now let's look at the HAF's A model run and what it is forecasting here. Oh boy. So I think this model run is doing a much better job on initialization. Does take it a little while to get organized, but when it does rapidly intensify here, explosively intensifies to 902 millibars on this run, although the previous run was showing the 890s or 880s millibars. So again, the system could become a very powerful Category 5. Winds on here around 150 knots, and that's continuing to strengthen after this point in time. We can look at the environment and just how favorable it is at this point in time. Shear looks to be moderate, but it is moving in the same direction as the shear, so really counteracts it. Shear is incredibly low at this time. Shear would be around at 2 knots, so really just favorable to continue to bomb out in intensity. And we can take a look at how far away it is from the Philippines, looking at this run right here. So you can see in the next 5 days, tropical storm force winds could already be approaching portions of the northern Philippines, so the Cagayan Valley in central Luzon. And I will pull up a map here, or a little bit of a checklist for you all in the Philippines, just so that way you guys get a little bit of a better idea on what you should be doing to prepare. Okay, this is going to be a hurricane preparedness checklist, but same thing for you all in the Philippines. I've decided that, you know what, guys, I want to show you this. So in terms of locations here, this is the preparedness checklist. You all can take a screenshot of this if you'd like, just so that way you all in the Cagayan Valley and Central Luzon, even the Cordillera Administrative Region and Ilocos Region can be prepared for the system. So you all are around 5 days away from impacts. So if you are in northern portions of Luzon, mainly Luzon in general, I would be checking forecast daily. Keep coming back for updates. I will continue to update you all throughout the next few days as the system continues to approach you. So just keep checking back for updates every day, at least once a day. I would recommend restocking essentials, things like food, water, paper towels, batteries, and medications. I'd review your evacuation zones and routes. Okay, so if you need to evacuate from a low-lying area, just review those kind of plans. Just to kind of help you on that, get a head start, I'd say. And then I'd be removing loose debris from yards and things like that. If there's any palm fronds down, things like that, any loose debris in your yards, that kind of stuff, starting to remove that. So that's what I'd be doing at this stage right now if you're in the portions of the northern Philippines. Now, going towards Kalmaegi in terms of impacts there, if you are in, let's see, how many hours until landfall in in Vietnam? That would be around 3 days away. And let's take a look at how many days or how many hours until impacts could begin in portions of Vietnam. See, so it looks to be in around, this would be 2 days from now, so 48 hours from now. Let's pull up that checklist. So if you are in Vietnam, especially portions of eastern Vietnam, southeastern Vietnam. Let me pull up that model run again. If you're in this region, I'd say this portion of Vietnam and Laos, Cambodia, and Thailand, but mainly portions of Vietnam, what I'd be doing at this stage is charging all your devices. I'd be moving your valuables to higher ground as flooding could be a concern with this system, and I'd begin securing outdoor items at this time, okay? And try to prepare a safe room, especially if you're kind of towards the center of the cone here. If you're in the center of the cone, really in this highlighted area of red, I'd be preparing a safe room where you can put supplies and bedding, just because you may be hunkered down there for a day or so. So really, if you're in Vietnam, I'd be on this stage of your planning right now, this red coloring. And then tomorrow you'll want to be bringing in loose outdoor objects, potentially boarding up windows and doors. But again, mainly you all in the portions of Vietnam are in this stage right here. And portions of the northern Philippines for that next system, you are currently in this stage right now. So hopefully that kind of breaks down kind of what you should be doing at this time. If you guys like this, can you give me a little bit of a confirmation in the live chat if you kind of like this breakdown? All right. Now, in terms of the environment there, yeah, I discussed that. Discuss the model runs. Now let's look at the other lower resolution models and what they're showing. So the European run does have it becoming a typhoon, does meander it near the Philippines there. This one, fortunately, has it curving away from the Philippines, makes a very close call, does still dump a tremendous amounts of rain for the Cagayan Valley. And Babuan Islands and Batanes Islands and Taiwan, and it does slam into the Sekishima Islands and Ryukyu Islands as a major typhoon before then speeding off towards the east and dissipating. That's one model run. Now looking at the American run on this system, it does have it quickly and explosively intensifying really over the next 48 hours into a major hurricane or major typhoon. Just south of Guam there, clipping it with some heavy rain, and it does become a Category 5 over the next, let's see, this would be the next 4 days, not a whole lot of time. This system explodes in intensity, at least on the American run, continues to strengthen before finally weakening as it makes landfall in the Philippines, still as a Category 5. This would be making landfall, at least on this model run, in the Cagayan Valley as a Category 5 super typhoon. It does then roll through the Ilocos region as a powerful Category 3 before then moving towards Taiwan and southeastern China before eventually dissipating. Looking at the latest Canadian run on the system, it does quickly intensify to a major typhoon and slams into the Cagayan Valley as a major typhoon. It then does meander towards the north, misses Hong Kong just barely, and meanders near southeastern China and Taiwan. Looking at the latest German run on the system, and this run has been coming out recently. Oh boy, it makes a beeline west there. Let's compare that to these other runs, for example. Where do they have the system? A little bit more to the southeast than some of these other model runs, especially compared to the American run, I believe, if I compare that here. Yeah, a little bit more to the south there, the German run is. So this could be slamming into the Philippines, maybe around Cagayan Valley or the central Luzon or Calabarzon region of the Philippines, or the Bicol region. Now, looking at the ensembles, here's a look at the latest European ensembles. Again, pretty much every single one wants a major typhoon out of this. Just where will it go is quite uncertain. And you can see that on here. Where's this system going to be going? Again, it is very uncertain. Is it going to be curving out to sea? Is it going to be going towards the Sekishima Islands or Ryukyu Islands, or is it going to be plowing towards Taiwan? Or does it manage to slam into the Philippines as a Category 5? It's super typhoon. It's very uncertain this far out. Looking at the American ensembles, again, it's going to be quite uncertain, but the consensus has it making landfall in the Cagayan Valley there as a super typhoon. All right, now looking at the ensemble members on here, you can clearly see, though, that super typhoon landfall in the Philippines. Now, looking at the European AI model run, I did want to discuss this here. This has been a little bit of a worrying trend recently on the AI models on the system. The ridge to the north is going to be strengthening, or it has uptrended a bit, which is going to be pushing it more to the southwest. So when we were looking yesterday at around a 50-50 shot on whether or not it was going to hit the Philippines, now it looks like there's around an 80% chance or higher. The AI models just completely plow into the Philippines as a super typhoon. So this is going to be something we're going to need to be watching over the coming days. Okay, I would take this seriously. This is quite a worrying trend, unfortunately. In terms of where that system's going to go afterwards, though, it looks like it's going to be meandering more to the north after moving through the Philippines, so towards Taiwan and southeastern China. Let's see here. Now let's discuss rainfall totals over the next 7 days on the various model runs here. Man, look at the European run. Oh boy. Okay, but that's not in the 7-day range just yet. So 7 days in terms of rainfall totals. If we look at portions of the southern Philippines, mainly the Visayas region, additional rainfall totals for the western portions of western Visayas, around 110 millimeters of rain. Some pockets could be up to 400 millimeters of rain. That's why there's a corridor highlighted for the possibility of major impacts there. Moving towards the west and portions of Palawan there, around the same totals, up to 200 millimeters of rain. In portions of Vietnam, wherever it makes landfall, rainfall totals on the European run showing upwards of 300 millimeters of rain. Cambodia also sees high rainfall totals of up to 200 millimeters, and southern Thailand as well. Looking at portions of the northern Philippines, and this will be including the Cagayan Valley, in terms of the next 7 days, some of these areas could see 500 millimeters of rain or more. And that's just the next 7 days. Beyond that range, it's even higher. Looking to the west, though, portions of Guam on the European run, rainfall totals of around 6 inches or so, 6 or 7 inches. Now, moving to the American run here, in terms of rainfall totals over the next 7 days, let's start off with looking at Guam here. Guam gets around to 6 or 7 inches on here as well. And looking at portions of the Philippines, western Visayas is around 200 millimeters of rain, and Palawan there is seeing up to 400 millimeters of rain. Looking west now into Vietnam, around 200 to 300 millimeters of rain just offshore and on shore as well, on land there, eastern Vietnam, central Vietnam, and then also northern Cambodia and southeastern Thailand there, and a corridor of up to 100 to 200 millimeters of rain possible for you there. Now, looking at portions of the northern Philippines from this system, mainly the Ilocos region gets it worse here. Rainfall totals of up to 400 millimeters of rain, but still eastern, the Cagayan Valley there, mainly Cagayan, up to 300 to 400 millimeters of rain for you on this model run. Now, switching gears over to the German run, let's just discuss the impacts here. This is over the next 6 days or so, so it doesn't really include portions of the Luzon here. But additional rainfall totals in Palawan, northern Palawan, up to 200 millimeters of rain. Portions of the Vietnam, wherever the system makes landfall, up to 400 millimeters of rain is possible. And in terms of Cambodia, rainfall totals of up to 200 millimeters of rain on the German run. Now, looking at Guam here on the German run, rainfall totals around 4 to 5 inches of rain, and portions of Luzon there, in terms of the Cagayan Valley in the next 7 days, around 200 millimeters of rain. But there are pockets up to 700 millimeters of rain that could be approaching land in the next 7 days. Now, I did want to discuss the latest Joint Typhoon Warning Center forecast cone. They do have it maintaining intensity over the next 12 hours, although it could briefly dip below tropical storm status or below typhoon status before it re-intensifies into a typhoon, slams into Palawan. There's Cat 1, and it does become a major typhoon by the time it enters the South China Sea. It is expected to potentially weaken before making landfall in Vietnam, and then continues to weaken as it moves through Vietnam, Cambodia, and Thailand, and Laos. Looking at the Google AI Ensemble members, this is going to be pretty interesting, and I'll pull up some code on my computer here, on my laptop, to kind of see the probability. Whoops. Okay, let me disconnect that. Okay, so the probabilities that this system becomes, like what will the peak of the system be in the South China Sea, according to the various Google AI Ensemble members. I will tell that to you all. Now let me get this. Oh no! Please run! Please run! No! 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 Sorry about this. Trying to get code working. Okay. In theory, this. Oh wait! I need to. Okay, my bad. I have to close out of something. Okay, there we go. In terms of peak percentages, if I pull up. Come on, please work. The probabilities that this will peak out as a certain strength, so there's around 14% of them that only have it being a Category 1 strength system, so 14% of them do not have it really strengthening much at all. In terms of Cat 2, 16% have it becoming a Category 2. Major typhoon, that would be around, let me do some quick math in my head, that would be around a 70% chance it becomes a major typhoon in the South China Sea. So more likely than not, it will become a major typhoon sometime in the South China Sea. In terms of Category 4 or higher, that's around 42% of them, so nearly half of them have it becoming a Category 4 or higher. 6% of them have it becoming a Category 5, so 3 of those 50 Ensemble members do have them becoming a Category 5 there. Looks like Category 3 or 4 is the most likely case scenario when it enters the South China Sea. Let's see here. Okay, yeah, the code's going to run again. I know. Okay, yeah. So in terms of the next system, Invest 90W, looking at just the consensus here. This doesn't include all the Ensemble members, but it does include a majority of them this time. And we will get more accurate information over the coming days. So be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Yeah, I did want to mention. Oh, whoops, sorry. Get this working. Oh, dang it. Okay. So just running code on my computer. Just trying to see how strong do the Ensemble members have it peaking out as. Okay. Okay. All right. I did want to mention, though, if you haven't already, please consider subscribing. We're trying to hit 4.73 thousand subscribers. We've got a lot of people watching, guys. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing. It really helps out a lot, and it helps keep you up to date. I am going to be continuing to update you all in the Philippines, so if you haven't already, please consider subscribing. It really helps out a lot. All right, now discussing the peak intensity here, this is not, I don't think this is all Ensemble members. Yeah, this probably is not every single Ensemble member out there with the system. But in terms of its peak intensity, yeah, that's not all Ensemble members, unfortunately. Here, let me try and see if this will work. Man, I have no idea what happened here. Why the heck is it like this? Okay. Yeah, because only around 22 of these members show anything in the first place. So really, okay, I'm going to be adjusting the probabilities here. Around, oh man, okay. That looks to be around a 90% chance or so that this becomes a Category 5 on the Google AI Ensemble members. So this is pretty extreme in terms of the probabilities it becomes a Category 5. The consensus even has it becoming a Category 5 super typhoon. So really, the chances of it becoming a super typhoon are around 90% or higher. The environment's just very pristine on the system, so man, this is getting a little bit scary if you live in portions of the northern Philippines. Let's hope it weakens before making landfall in portions of northern Luzon. We have plenty of time to watch this. Time is on our side in the northern Philippines. So northern Luzon, the Bicol region, all those areas, you guys have time to watch this, okay? Stay up to date. Again, super typhoon may be headed your way, so really continue to check forecasts daily. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already, so that way you can get these kind of updates once a day. Be sure to restock essentials already. I'd be doing this. I'd be doing this today if you haven't already. Today or tomorrow. Just try to get this done if you can. The earlier, the better. You know, I'm trying to get you guys a step ahead of the system before Pagasa starts really initiating advisories on it. So really take this seriously. So again, restock essentials. So get things like food, get a week's supply or more of food, water, paper towels, batteries, medications as well. Get a week's supply of that or more. Make sure I'd get mainly around a 10-day supply of those essentials. Mainly because the system will be impacting you all during the 5 to 10-day range. Really is when you're going to be really needing those supplies. Review evacuation zones as well. If you're in a low-lying area, I'd be preparing or just looking over your evacuation routes and things like that, and evacuate when told to do so. And then also remove loose debris from your yard. Like if you have the time, just go ahead and do it already. It doesn't hurt. And then over the next 2 days, that's when you'll want to start doing more of these other preparations. Again, if you want to, you can take a screenshot of it. Of course, all power to you there on doing this, and then you can just check off what you've done already. If you're checking forecast daily, you can add that onto your check mark. All of you should be adding this to your check mark if you haven't already. There, you're already tuning in for updates. So good job, everyone, and subscribing as well. If you're already subscribed, you got that check mark already done there. If you restocked essentials, again, you'll want to do that, and you'll want to review if you're in evacuation zone, things like that. If you're in a very susceptible area due to flooding, if you're in a high-risk structure, maybe consider contacting family members, that kind of stuff. Talk to family about the system if you haven't already. Just kind of figure out where you're gonna go if the system does roll through your area as a super typhoon. And again, please just try to remove loose debris if you haven't already. Just get it done. Get it done now. What will the next name be? I'm not quite sure. I think it starts with a U, I know, for those in the Philippines. Yes, thank you, Damien. Yes, guys, if you like this, can you give me like a rating out of 10? What would you rate this kind of rating thing? As I kind of want to, like 10 being the best, really informative, 1 being like it's horrible. I'd want to know, what would you all rate this as kind of how informative is this graphic here? Is it helpful for you all? Is it great? Does it get the message across mainly? All right, seeing a lot of 10s. Okay, yeah. Oh wow. All right. Okay, I am going to be including this now in all my streams. Hi, Mammerds. I remember you, and I remember you, Damien. I did want to mention that. Andrew, I know you, Zenith, as well. Super Typhoon Tracker, Broly Meng, all you guys, I remember. Yes. All right. So now let's answer some questions. Oh, and I do want to mention before we start answering these. Oh, I do want to also point out the trend here. The trend is not our friend. If you're in the Philippines here, you can see how the earlier trend did have it missing the Philippines just barely. This is the consensus where it would go. So like 50% of them would have it going off to the east, 50% would have it going off to the west. Really, pretty much is what this would mean. And that has shifted more to the southwest. We've seen the Ensemble members, the AI models, shift to the southwest. So again, the trend is not our friend with this system. We were hoping it'd curve more to out to sea, but really the ridge to the north is going to be pushing it to the south. And then these last 2 model runs, the consensus has been going straight through Luzon. Again, it could be pushed even more to the south. So we'll oh boy. Okay. Again, we'll be discussing this system over the coming days. Now, I did want to mention, though, if you haven't already, please consider following me on one of these other social media platforms. If you use X, consider following me on there. I post there the most often there. So if you want to get updates, the most amount of updates, you can follow me at Hurricane_Chase. If you use Instagram, if you have Instagram, please follow me there if you haven't. I do post updates and chase content and animation updates there. You can follow me there at Hurricane Chaser Chase if you haven't already. And let me know if you follow me on Instagram in the chats. In terms of if you use Facebook or or if you use Facebook or Blue Sky and that's your preferred social media platform, I don't really ask you to follow that unless that's your preferred social media platform. You can follow me on there at Cyclone Tracking. If you use Discord, you can always join the Discord server, discord.gg/chasesstorm. All right, now let's go answer some questions on the system. We have a lot of chats here. Let's see. Do you think Kalmaegi is a Category 2 or 3? I think it's a Category 1 at this point in time. It could have peaked as a Category 3. I'm going to have to do reanalysis on the system to try to figure out how strong it was at landfall. Fortunately, it did not make landfall as a Category 4. Yeah, 90W might be one of the strongest storms of the year if things go right. You're right on that, bro, Limeng. Oh, Burley Meng, you're from Cambodia. Interesting. Okay. Melissa's the strongest right now. Yes, we have reanalyzed the system. If you're in the Discord server, you can see the reanalysis on that in one of the channels there. What we have reanalyzed the peak of Hurricane Melissa to be. The animation will be releasing this this coming Sunday, I believe. Yes, this is it. Yeah, let me just double check here. Making sure I'm doing things right. Okay, yeah. Today's Monday. All right. Okay. Yeah. So Sunday. Sunday is when the animation on Hurricane Melissa will be releasing and showing the analysis there. Let's see here. What other questions here? To update on Tino, strong winds caused power outages in parts of the Visayas region in northern Mindanao. Heavy rainfall reported there yesterday in Cebu earlier today. Yeah, that would make sense. 92A is finally gone. Yes, Typhoon Lover, you're right on that. 92A is finally gone. No longer tracking that. So we're down to 4 systems. So let's hope there's not going to be another signal after this for those in the Philippines. Yeah, 4 more days until Haiyan's 13th anniversary. Wow. Right, let's see what else here. Yeah, Melissa 2.0. Unfortunately, this looks like it could be a Melissa for those in portions of the Philippines. 90W is mainly what we're talking about. The system after Kalmaegi or Tino, the next system. That system could become a real problem for portions of the Philippines. All right. Typhoon Lover, I see you're getting my reference there yeah, okay. What time did Kalmaegi make landfall? We can pull that up here. Now, this is going to be a little bit different, so let me try and figure out. Let's see, your guys' time is an hour after mine. Oh, thank you so much for 4.73 thousand subscribers, guys. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing. Really helps out a lot. So in terms of the landfall timing, it looks like it made landfall at around, this would be around midnight for you all in the Philippines. Did make another landfall probably at around 1:20 a.m. and then another one at around 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. excuse me, and then another one at around 6:50 a.m. And then probably made one at around 9 or 10:20 a.m. and maybe another one at around right now actually. How much rainfall in Manila? Let's discuss that here. In terms of rainfall in Manila, some of these model runs want nothing happening there. I would just expect marginal impacts. I can't really discuss the rainfall totals, but really just marginal impacts there. Yeah, 888 millibars by halves A yesterday, or today, or 12Z. So yeah, that's concerning there. This next system could become a historic typhoon, not just a bare minimum super typhoon. Could become historic in terms of just how much this system strengthens. So we can look at 12Z run on here. Its pressure there gets down to 888 millibars there. And it does still be an 890 millibar storm there, 160 knots peaks out at. So just really awful storm there. Again, I'd be starting your preparations already. Just continue to come back for updates. I will keep you updated. Let's answer some more questions here. Asking about the system after 90W. Will there be another storm? Let's look at the Climate Prediction Center in terms of what they've been thinking on here. So in terms of November 5th through 11th, we're mainly going to be focusing on that system near the Philippines. Then there could be another one from November 12th through the 18th. There you see another area around the Philippines in the South China Sea. So we could be looking at another system after that. unfortunately. So it's not over just yet. You all are going through Kalmaegi or Tino, and you will be going through another system, and then you all will be going through potentially another one after that, but it's a little bit far out. Have not really seen any signal emerge just yet. Oh, by the way, Pagasa 90W is now a tropical depression. Do they have a forecast on it just yet? Here, I will pull up their page, seeing if they've posted anything. Yeah, okay. Tropical depression was formerly low pressure area number 11. So we will be seeing forecasts being issued by them. This is going to be pretty interesting. The Google AI Ensemble members do have it within the next 5 days, again becoming a Category 5 by day 4 to 5. So, oh man. I'm going to be issuing forecasts on this system when it becomes a tropical cyclone. So we could be looking at a forecast by tomorrow morning for you all in the Philippines. This is going to be a little bit scary, but we'll make it through, okay? I'll keep you all prepared each step of the way. Is there a chance 90W will dissipate? Again, the chances that it actually forms are near 100%. In terms of Category 5 Super Typhoon, the chances are like 90% on this through the Google AI members, so really, I don't think it's not going to form. It's already a tropical depression according to Pagasa. I don't think it is one just yet, but it's not going to just dissipate. Yes. Oh no, a good point there. Again, the high pressures could push the system more to the south. It may be underestimating that ridge. So if we go back to the trend here, getting pushed further and further to the south, even those in central Luzon and southern Luzon, the Bicol region, all those areas really need to be watching this system closely, as it could go on that more southern trajectory. They may be underestimating just how far south it will go. And it's been pushed to the south over the previous run, so we could see another nudge to the south. Maybe to the north, that'd be the best case scenario, but again, every single Ensemble member does show a landfall, looks like. Yeah, pretty much every single Ensemble member shows a landfall with the system in the Philippines. One just clips Santa Ana there. So again, though, man, this is just a little bit scary. 5 days out now, showing just such a powerful storm rolling towards the Philippines. It's a Category 5 there, so I may be forecasting a Category 4 or 5 strength system on my first forecast cone. We'll see. I mean, that'd make the most sense with this kind of system. Yeah, another Manyi potentially like that system. Um, yeah, like kind of similar to Manyi in terms of the where it's going to be going. See, the Western Visayas region in the Philippines there, in terms of impacts that you all are expected to see from this first system, Western Visayas, additional, really anywhere from slight impacts to the possibility of major impacts, mainly due to flooding. Flooding and wind is going to be your concern with the system. Yes, guys, if you haven't already, please consider liking the stream. I forgot to ask you all that, so I don't blame you if you haven't liked it yet. Please like it if you haven't already. That really helps out a lot. Okay, unfortunately, Richie mentions that unfortunately one person has died in Tino. Yeah, and let's try to be prepared for this next system. Okay, we have a lot more time to watch this. This isn't coming out of nowhere. You all have 5 days to be preparing for this next system. So, I get those preparations. Start them. Okay, start filling out this checklist. Any warnings yet? I don't think there's any warnings on 90W yet. Yeah, Category 5 Fung Wong. Okay, that's the next name. Yeah, that could really happen. It could. Oh, and will Kalmaegi rapidly re-intensify? It could. Will this beat Melissa? Yeah, unfortunately, it looks like this next system could be beating Melissa in terms of ensemble mean. This system is going much more bullish than both Melissa and Ragasa or Ragasa. Ragasa, yeah. So really, this is a little bit more extreme than Ragasa was forecasted to be. So we could be looking at a stronger system than Ragasa, unfortunately. Let's see here. What other questions? Sorry, guys. I'm catching up to your questions. Next to me says, I just saw a tree fall. Well, yeah, trees being knocked down, that will be a concern for a majority of these systems, these typhoons. Let's see what else here. What will the next name be? I believe Fung Wong and Uwan. I probably butchered that, guys. I will learn how to pronounce that probably by tomorrow or the next day. Yes, good to see you're preparing, Zenith. Yes. Oh, thank you, Zenith. I'm so glad I've inspired you. Great updates, of course. Thank you all. There we go. Okay, I'm almost. Oh wait, no. Am I not at the? Oh no. Hold on. I'm trying to scroll down. Okay, I'm trying to catch up. Yeah, hopefully 90W weekends. Mammerds, I believe you're from. Let me pull it up on here. I believe you are going to be from Santiago in Isabela, I believe. I might have gotten that right. If I did, that would be insane. I remember one of my fans. Um, but yeah, again though, again it could head towards your area there. The consensus does have it rolling just to the south, but again, it doesn't really matter. You would still be seeing major impacts from the system. It's far out to determine where exactly it will go beyond the 5-day range, and I will continue to keep you updated on the system. 90W is not just going to be another Kome. This could be much worse than Kome was. Would 90W's clouds go to Mindanao? I'm not sure. It all depends on how expansive it gets. Again, we'll have a much better idea on the system over the coming days. Yes, thank you guys so much for all the congratulations there for 4.73 thousand subscribers. Yeah, if you haven't already and you're watching this stream for the first time, you all can subscribe if you would please. It really helps out a lot. And if you've been subscribed for a while and you have Instagram, you can follow me there at Hurricane Chaser Chase. That really helps out a lot. And if you're already following me on Instagram, let me know in the live chat. That that helps out a lot. Yes, I know what you're talking about, Typhoon Lover, with 92W being the worst tracking since 005F. Ooh, okay. My girlfriend is in the Aya now in the Philippines. She says it's very bad there. Extreme flooding, heavy winds, trees down, flooding. She says very deep now, yes. In terms of Kalmaegi, those impacts, yeah, likely bringing a moderate to potentially major impacts, mainly in the form of rain there for the possibility of major impacts. Could see some major flooding out of the system, but at least moderate winds. We're going to be seeing typhoon force winds happening across western Visayas and portions of the Negros Island region, and it's now leaving central Visayas. Portions of Palawan, though, need to be watching the system as those areas could be seeing potentially major impacts. Oh no, you don't. You don't have to unsubscribe from Force 13. They still do updates internationally. So Force 13 also good, but I like to do it more personally, trying to answer more questions. I do these live streams more frequently, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I don't say unsubscribe from them. I don't want to say that, okay? Because I don't want to be don't want to be a hater there. But just subscribing to this channel helps out a lot, okay? Um, Pagasa released their first advisory for 90W. Have they? I'm not quite sure if they have or not. I'll refresh the page. Nope, I don't see. Oh, okay. Oh man. Oh boy. Yes. Okay. Yes, they have. Whoa. Yeah. Unfortunately, they are now forecasting a super typhoon in their first forecast cone on it. Wow. Okay. Um, Man. Okay. So they're forecasting a super typhoon now, and their first forecast on it already forecasting a super typhoon on a Sunday morning. So, man, this is not looking good for the Philippines really at all. It's already expected to be a major typhoon by the time it enters the Philippine area of responsibility. Great call on Pagasa for releasing this forecast cone already. Um, Again, though, super typhoon on their first advisory. How about that? They're expecting it to be a tropical storm on Wednesday morning. I believe that'd be tomorrow morning, and becoming a severe tropical storm on Thursday morning before becoming a typhoon on Thursday night. Then it does continue to rapidly intensify there to a still a major typhoon there on Saturday morning, and then super typhoon on Sunday morning. Oops. 195-kilometer-an-hour winds are being forecasted for the system. What is the threshold for super typhoon? Can any of you guys let me know, please, in the live stream chat? What's the threshold for super typhoon? Will the Australian cyclone season start beginning to wake up soon? I am not sure about that. We'll discuss that in future updates when things start calming down. Well, Invest 90W is now already a tropical depression, according to Pagasa. I don't think it is one just yet. Personally, again, it doesn't really have sustaining convection over that center just yet. Again, it's just mainly a naked swirl that's been spinning around there, so really not a whole lot of thunderstorms over that center. We'd like to see what's happening to the south here, all of these thunderstorms right in here, to be on over the center. But we're seeing just some isolated thunderstorms or scattered thunderstorms over it. It's nothing really sustaining, though. This would need to sustain for over 12 hours or so. I use the international standard here. Now, something I do want to mention here is because all these thunderstorms are more to the south, it may try to tug that center a little bit more on the southern side. So again, we could see more adjustments happen to the south here. This trend could be pushed more to the south. Again, though generally, though, the Ensemble members do have it moving to the south there, so they are already taking that into account. Just, man, not quite sure where it's going just yet. See if there's more tools we can use on here. All right, here's a look at the Grand Ensemble members. This isn't the super cluster. There's a look at the super. Okay, trying to see if I can pull up this here. This is a little bit. Oh, okay. Well, I just closed out the website. My faults. Okay. In terms of where it's expected to go, again, I think this does the best job. What does the black line mean here? Not quite sure. Okay, here's a look at the Grand Ensemble members here. I don't know if that's the consensus or what this black line is, but as you can see, though, the higher probabilities do go through portions of northern and central Luzon. Bicol region as well highlighted potentially there. Really, if you're anywhere in this blue coloring, you do have at least a 5% chance of the system passing pretty close to you. So really be watching this if you're in this region especially. So in the entirety of Luzon and portions of eastern Visayas, they need to be watching this system, including portions of eastern Mindoro as well need to be watching this. Metro Manila as well. You all are around a 15% chance, I'd say, 15 to 20% chance. Probably around a 20% chance that the system passes within 150 kilometers of you, the center of the storm. Then portions of, let's see here, this would be portions of eastern central Luzon there, or in portions of the Cagayan Valley, those probabilities are up to around 50% chance or so. So that's where the general consensus of the system, where is it expected to go, looks like it's going to be going somewhere through here. Looks like is what the general consensus seems to be. Let's see what else here. Sorry guys, I'm getting through your questions bit by bit. All right. Yeah, if you haven't already, please consider subscribing as it really helps out a lot. Let's see if we can hit 4.74 thousand. We are 7 away from that. Let's see if we can hit it. I am reading your comments. Oh no, I am just getting towards them comments by comments. Let's see. Rashol says, "Why did the Pacific season get so active?" Well, it was relatively calm earlier, I'd say, for the Philippines, but it's just been picking up. It's those Burr months, like October, September, October, November, December. Those months are typically the busiest in the Western Pacific, so that's kind of why it's picking up. We nearly got away without, like, we didn't actually nearly get away with, but we almost got away with without a Category 4. We came pretty close throughout most of the year, not getting a Category 4. Then Ragasa and Neoguri hits. Yes, Santiago, okay. Yes, in theory, Typhoon Lover, the channel should reach 5,000 subscribers before the end of the year. So let's see if we can hit it. If everyone subscribes who's watching, we'd hit that. Let's see. Residing here in the Phillies, this is a very vital info for us. Good job. Already just subscribed. Thank you so much. And I'm so glad I'm able to help you all in the Philippines prepare for the system. Oh yeah, and if you haven't already, please consider liking the stream. I forgot to mention that. That really helps get it out to more people. Again, if you're in the Philippines, I'd be doing this top list of the checklist here. So continue to check Forecast Daily. Again, if you're already subscribed to the channel, you should already check this off here. Because you're already coming back for daily updates. You guys are more informed than majority of those in the Philippines. And in terms of restocking essentials, I'd recommend doing that already. Again, do that today. There is probably going to be a rush of more people as they're seeing this cone. But again, I'm letting you all know that this cone would be extended towards you all in the Philippines. So really start getting that completed. Get this done over the next 2 days, as the earlier you do it, the better. There are going to be crowds of people now starting to get preparations completed, as they're going to start seeing that super typhoon point get closer and closer to the Philippines. So I'd recommend restocking essentials. So get things like food, 10 days worth of food, 10 days worth of water, paper towels, batteries, and 10 days worth of medication. All will be very helpful. Also, review your evacuation zones and routes. If you're in a susceptible area like a high-risk structure, even moderate risk structure, start considering where you'd go to. Whether that be family, friends, who has the best structure, where would you all go? Who's in the least flood-prone area? And then I'd consider removing loose debris from your yards. Let's see here, yeah. New updates showing a super typhoon there. Yes. How many storms can we see in the Australian cyclone season? That's a little bit far out to be discussing just yet. Or not ready to discuss that just yet. Hope you always make exclusive updates for Philippines forecasts. Yes, I always do these kind of forecasts, and in fact, I will likely be doing one tomorrow if the system's already a tropical cyclone. The problem is, if it's not, the most I'll do is a 3-day forecast. If it's a tropical cyclone at that point, then I'll do a 5-day forecast. But it's not a tropical cyclone just yet. Mainly going to be focusing on this system as it plows towards Vietnam. We'll definitely be doing another forecast on this system, and then we'll likely do another one on the one headed towards the Philippines. Going to be interesting trying to figure out how I'm going to make a thumbnail with both of these systems when that other one becomes a storm. Yes, I beat Australia in subs. Thank you so much for that. Yes. Climbing the ranks. Thank you all so much for the support. We're now 5 away from 4.74 thousand subscribers. If you could subscribe, that'd mean a lot, okay? So my girlfriend lives in Cebu and has a family in Tiburon province, and there are cars floating in streets, and she has a family stuck on roofs trying to stay out of water. Yes, unfortunately, this system already is causing moderate to potentially major impacts throughout central Visayas, and additional impacts like that are possible in portions of the Negros Island region, and as well as western Visayas and Mimaropa, all those areas. Let's see here, 185 kilometer an hour for Super Typhoon. Okay, and 195 kilometer an hour winds are being forecasted. So this isn't just the bare minimum Super Typhoon. Yeah, don't think it's a tropical cyclone just yet. Yeah, Signal 5 warnings could really happen with the system. Oh man, okay. I'm still catching up, okay? Still getting through the questions. There's a lot of questions here. Yeah, not every super typhoon is another Haiyan, as you mentioned, Johannes. So yeah, again, not every super typhoon is going to be another Haiyan. Okay, but this system is looking like it could be stronger than most super typhoons. This next one. So in terms of Ensemble members here, this has been the most bullish Ensemble member forecast I have ever seen on a tropical cyclone. So, at least how long Google AI has been running. So really, throughout the past year, this has been the highest end signal that I've ever seen with a tropical cyclone, even worse than Ragasa. Think it will be 180 miles an hour? Yeah, that could definitely happen. I will have a much better idea on what the peak could be tomorrow, just because all the Google AI members will be running through smoothly, and we can kind of get a better idea as to what's the consensus for a peak throughout them. The consensus has it as a Category 5 at one point in time. A majority of these members do have it peaking out as a Category 5 at least some point in time as a super typhoon. Let's see here. Global warming taking effect on this? Eh. I don't really discuss that much. Mainly because the waters are already going to be so warm for the system, that's not really going to be making a whole lot of a difference. But yeah, we can take a look at sea surface temperatures on that disturbance. Sea surface temperatures there are around really 29 to 30 degrees Celsius, so very, very warm. In terms of anomalies, yeah, I mean, they're about a degree Celsius warmer than average, but really that doesn't make a whole lot of a difference. It's really going to be the upper level environments that's going to be making a difference. The fact that there's going to be little to no shear, that's really going to allow for it to explode in intensity. Hey, Hurricane Chaser, Pagasa already considered that new system a tropical depression, which will have an international name, Fungwang, has a 100% chance of becoming a super typhoon. And I wouldn't say 100%, I'd say around a 90% at this time. Um, just because we're not sure. Let's hope it what we call it as is a bust. Let's hope it does that. Let's hope it fails. Just continuously fails to try to develop a core. Just continues to fail every attempt at trying to intensify. Let's hope it does that. In terms of the ceiling is around 180 knots. Let's see how strong that is. That's 205 miles an hour being forecasted by the Google AI member, the highest end there, and that's a pressure of down to 881 millibars. The lowest member in terms of pressure, yeah, 881 millibars. So that's the strongest member. It has it right over, let's see, has it all the way over here. So it's a little bit earlier in time before it reaches the Philippines. Let's hope it weakens before it before it slams into the Philippines. Let's hope it curves out to sea. Yes, Zenith, it's prepared. Yeah, if you want to, you all can take a screenshot of this here. I'll take a screenshot of it. It's if it's helpful for you all. Um, You just take a screenshot of it. This will be very helpful over the next 5 days or so for you all in the Philippines as to what to do. Now, in terms of preparedness, I'd say 5 days away from impacts, from like outer bands, really, is what you should be doing for the system. So 5 days before the system approach, this is like right about now for you all. In terms of what you should be doing, you should be already checking your forecast daily. If you're subscribed to the channel, you've already checked that box. Okay, you're already checking back for updates. In terms of restocking essentials, you all should do that in terms of food, water, paper towels, batteries, medications, all for about 10 days or so. 10 days of supply at least. Just get that done. Just because you can beat the crowds. And remove loose debris and review evacuation zones and routes. Try to plan out where you're going to go if you need to evacuate. When you're 3 days away, that's when you're going to be wanting to wash clothes and dishes, back up important documents, clean gutters and storm drains. 48 hours ahead of time, you want to be charging all your devices. You want to move valuables to higher ground, and you want to begin to start preparing a safe room in your house or wherever you're planning to ride out the storm, where you're going to put all your supplies and bedding. Where are you going to be sleeping during the storm? 24 hours away, that's when you're going to want to complete bringing in all indoor or all outdoor objects, and by then you want to have all your windows and doors boarded up, depending on if you're going to be seeing major impacts from the wind, major catastrophic impacts. And then at 12 hours away or less, that's when you're going to be wanting to stay home and sheltering at your location and keep food, water, and first aid close by. And so yeah, just taking a screenshot of that, of course. Dude, I'm from the Bicol region. Yeah, Bicol region could see impacts from the system. Again, some of these members do have it rolling through the Bicol region, so as a Category 5 super typhoon. So really, it's uncertain. Just keep checking back for updates, okay? You'll know if this is going to be a problem or not. I'll keep you in the know on that. Yes, in northern Vietnam, you all are being protected mostly from the system in the northernmost portions of Vietnam from Kalmaegi. Go back to this checklist for you all. This next typhoon, yeah, has a chance to rapidly intensify, yes. Oh, Damien, you're not from the Philippines. You're from Mauritius. Ooh, I do live stream sometimes there. Damien, did you find my channel from doing coverage in Mauritius? That's crazy. I did not realize that. Damien, I've seen you in the live chats, I believe, for portions of the Philippines. So, man, I thought you were from the Philippines. Well, nice to see you're from Mauritius. Let's see, there's moderate rainfall right now in Bulacan. So you don't know where that is, unfortunately. Looking at the map, trying to see, don't see. Okay, sorry about that. Let's see what other questions here. Talk about moon. Okay, yeah, 84 people watching. Yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Again, if you haven't already, please consider subscribing. Really helps out the channel. Discuss typhoons, tropical cyclones all across the globe. So really, if you see your area highlighted in red in the live or in the stream thing, you just consider watching there. Consider clicking on the video. So subscribing really helps keep you up to date on these systems. Bicol region could be affected. Yes, again, Bicol region could be getting a direct hit by a super typhoon. It's uncertain though this far out. Where is it going to go and how strong will it be? Yeah, this next system has a chance to be stronger than Ragasa, and it does have a chance to be stronger than Melissa. So this could be the strongest tropical cyclone of the globe this year. How good is the environment for 90W? Great question, Richie. Let's pull up that. In terms of the environment, let's pull up this model run here. In terms of right now, roughly the kind of environment it's experiencing right now, let's pull this up here. It is experiencing low shear, so really it's not too bad. It is moving a little bit to the north. Not really a bad environment. And let's pull up the moisture probably. That would be a better depiction on the system. Not really any dry air impacting it. And if we go on to Wednesday night, that environment there, shear is very low on the system. And it just continues to stay incredibly low. And as we go to Thursday night, overnight into Friday morning, again, the shear is incredibly low for the system. Really, the look at that dry eye on this system. Wow, okay, just let me click on it here. Just seeing how dry is it there. Wow, look at that there. Very dry eye on this system. And then going forward in time there to its peak. Let's go right before peak and looking at what the environment looks like there. So further intensifies there, very low wind shear. Moving to the northwest or west-northwest pretty quickly at around 19 knots. And then after that, though, going towards the last frame here, let's look at what's shear looking like here. Shear does begin to increase, but again, it's moving at 14 knots, so it really cancels that out. 13 knots of wind shear moving at 14 knots. They're moving at the same direction, so really that's only 1 knot of wind shear. So incredibly low there. Looking at the overall environment here, zooming out a bit, you can see some dry air will be moving to the south and impacting some of the Philippines. So you're going to be getting a lot drier conditions in portions of the Philippines. Let's see if I can highlight a region like this. Yes, a lot drier for the Philippines. Okay, so it's going to be dry before the system actually rolls through. Looks like moves some of that drier continental air from China down to you all before then the system's outer bands start to impact you. And then you can see some of that. It was gale force winds in green, and a gale force gust is going to be green in this kind of color here. Already beginning to impact portions of the Philippines. This would be on Saturday. Looks like Sunday morning actually. Could see some of those outer rain bands impacting you. Looking at the gale force winds, sustained winds, so tropical storm force winds looks like could be beginning to happen within the next 5 days. So that's why you'd want to get those preparations completed like this. There's a 5-day point in the checklist there, the yellow coloring. Get that started. All right, other questions here. Again, this does have the potential to beat out Melissa as the strongest storm of the year. Goni was initially forecasted at northern Luzon. That's interesting. Yeah, so again, really, the forecasted cone is large for a reason. Could go as far south as eastern Visayas. And it could go as far north as Alta Sea. Let's hope the Alta Sea track verifies. Again, eastern Visayas should be watching. This could have a super typhoon over here, for example. So, really, it's uncertain as to where it's going to be. The highest confidence track is it's going to be tracking this way. All right, I'm catching up to all your questions. Remember, if you haven't already, please consider subscribing and liking the stream. Just answering some more questions. Half-say model is showing 902 millibars. Yeah, it's crazy. And the previous one was showing 988 millibars. Or, sorry, 888 millibars, my bad. So, yeah, incredibly low there. Do you think 90W will go farther, more farther than more south? It's uncertain. It's really going to be dependent on if we look at the environmental factors. Oops, let me go back to this. No, it's right here. In terms of environmental condition, or I mean synoptic things like the highs and lows. Looking at that here in terms of the European AI model on why it's going more to the south, it's mainly due to the fact that that ridge over Taiwan and China, southern China and Hong Kong, has trended upwards here. So you see, this is earlier and then this is later now, the later runs. So really, the ridge also closes in more to the north by the Northern Mariana Islands. Looks like that's a little bit stronger as well. So really, the ridging has increased there. So that's the main difference I've noticed. Also, I think the trend really actually has to do with, hold on, me just double check if I'm right on this here. This actually is going to be due to Kalmaegi. Kalmaagi's actually influencing this, I think. It has to do with how quickly Kalmaagi's moving. It's moved faster than forecasted on the most recent runs. So that's why you can see it's more out of the picture, and it allows the ridge to build more, looks like, or it doesn't weaken as quickly. It holds on to its strength for a longer amount of time, looks like, because of Kalmaegi there moving faster and more further inland. So Kalmaagi's it's also due to this ridge. So we'll see over the coming updates on how, if this trends weaker, if it trends stronger. That's going to be the main influence as to where is it going to slam into the Philippines. It's a possible super typhoon. What is the possibility that it beats the pressure for Melissa? Man, I need to make probabilities of pressure. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna code that tomorrow probably. I'm not sure. I have to finish up analysis on Melissa, get that stuff kind of done. I have to do some other things. I forget what I need to do. I'll figure that out. But I will try to make some code to try and figure out the probabilities of its pressure. 90W could move towards Manila. So if you're in Manila, I'd be watching the system closely as well. Some of these members do have it rolling through your region as a major typhoon. And really, if this system gets pushed more to the south, that consensus could be rolling right through Metro Manila. Let's hope. Let's hope this doesn't really hit anywhere in the Philippines. Let's hope it goes on the more northern end, curves out to sea. But yeah, this could be a worst case scenario for Metro Manila. Let's see. Question: if 90W will be making landfall Tuesday morning or Monday evening, your time, will you do a live landfall coverage so that we'll be aware of how strong this thing is? Ooh, live landfall coverage, discussing that far out. Let's see, the consensus has it making landfall, that'd be Sunday nights for my time. So, yeah, I could honestly do a live landfall coverage on this system as it's making landfall. I will continue to update you all every day. Okay, so be sure to follow me on all these other social media platforms. Really, just the ones you use the most. If you use X, follow me on there at hurricane_chase. I post there the most. If you use YouTube, you can subscribe to me there. If you haven't already. We are closing in on 4.74 thousand subscribers, just 2 away. We're getting closer and closer to 5,000. In terms of Instagram, if you use Instagram, if you have Instagram, please follow me there and at Hurricane Chaser Chase. Post my cones there. If you prefer to use Facebook or Blue Sky, you can follow me there, Cyclone Tracking. And you can join the Discord server, discord.gg/chasestorm. That's where we discuss tropical cyclones all across the globe. That's mainly if you're a weather enthusiast. If you want to get information pretty quickly and you're in the Philippines, you don't really need to join the Discord server. Just focus on following me on those other social media platforms. Is 90W going to impact the Bicol region? In terms of the probabilities that you'd get impacted in the Bicol region, some of these probabilities are nearing around 30% or so. Of it passing within 150 kilometers of your location. So above a 30% chance that you'll see impacts from the system, I'd say. And let's just hope it goes on these more northern solutions compared to these southern solutions. In terms of the 5% chance that it happens, that the center moves within 150 kilometers, that'd be around this area in blue here. So even Hong Kong is included in that, the entirety of Taiwan, the Ryukyu and Sekishima Islands of Japan, all here around a 5% chance that you see the system getting at least 150 kilometers away from your location. Now, in terms of how large is that wind field going to be, that will matter quite a bit. Pull that up on here. Let's see, from the center, how far out is this? Oh man, That is over 400 kilometers. Okay, yeah, so this isn't really the probabilities you'd see impacts. The probabilities that you'd see impacts are going to be a lot higher than this. Okay, this is just, I don't know, this may be probabilities of you seeing hurricane force winds. I'm not sure. Or sorry, typhoon force winds. If Kalmaegi is going to be code purple the next 5 days, well, I'd still be doing it even if it was code pink. So even if it gets downgraded, I'd probably still be doing a live stream tomorrow. If not tomorrow, it will be the day after tomorrow, okay? So I will continue to be posting more updates on the system. Really, you guys are knocking the code system so high that I'm just going to be having to do updates on the system over the coming days. Is 90 going to be hitting the Karaga region? I'd say no. I don't think it's going to get that far south. Yes, Jolina, I do answer the questions. Just give me a little bit. Oh well, 4.74 thousand subscribers. Thank you all so much. Let's see. Yeah, 90W could be rapidly intensifying. It could rapidly intensify before it slams into the Philippines. So, again, we're going to be watching the system very closely, keeping you guys updated well ahead of its impacts. Name a typhoon to edits. I'd edit Ragasa, sorry, Ragasa. I'd animate that storm. Maybe Neoguri. Or for edits, I mean. Michael, I sent you or message on Discord. You'd have to open up your message request or something like that, and then you'll see my message. Could 90W be a code purple by Saturday or Friday? Let me look at the times. Saturday or Friday? Probably already going to be one by Friday or Saturday. I don't know, definitely one on, I don't know, Friday or Saturday are going to be the main days. Man, this thing is going to be moving fast. I just realized that. That's going to be moving pretty quickly when it enters the Philippine Area of Responsibility. Mainly tracks from the Philippine Area of Responsibility to the Philippines in 2 days. Looks like 48 hours or so. So that's pretty quick. Man, yeah, it's going to be moving very quickly by the time it enters the Philippine Area of Responsibility. Could be slamming into the Philippines there. Um, Man, okay. So yeah, that's going to be moving pretty quick. Let's hope it's able to weaken some before it makes landfall. There, the consensus does have it weakening. That's mainly due to the fact some of those Ensemble members have it making landfall there, but hopefully it does weaken there. In terms of the environment, I did want to discuss this again, though. The environment is very conducive for development here. It is going to be having like these three areas of great outflow, so really it's under a very good environment right now. Uh, and then it's going to be a little bit to the west of an upper level anticyclone, but really just very favorable environment for outflow. So just perfect for the storm to bomb out intensity. And looking at the run before that, man, just pristine. But again, this initial phase of a rapid intensification south of Guam there, just, ooh, okay. Then it just really gets strong there, but then it finally weakens. I'm curious if we can pull up longer range halves model runs. I can, oh man, okay, a lot of notifications on other social media platforms. Please work. I'll check if I can pull this up for other areas. I think it's just the North Atlantic, the halves multi-model. See here. I forget what to use if you want to see 7-day forecast for some of these systems. Let's see, we can pull up recent models, I believe. Nope, wrong thing. I guess it's, where do I go again? I think, is it recent events? Yeah, okay. Ooh, okay, it might be this. Yeah, okay. This seems to be it. This goes out to, okay, these go out to 5 days. Just trying to see what they're showing. Okay, this goes out to 7 days here. This is the HAFS B model run, and it does have it peaking out. Let's see. This is the experimental HAFS B model run. It has it peaking out with a pressure of 892 millibars, looks like there. Yeah, the peak there, 892.8 millibars is its peak, is what it's forecasting, just beyond the 5-day range. Then it does slam into the Babuin Islands as a... Man, okay, oh man, they've already been hammered and another one's expected to go their way. This is a little bit on the northern end of the guidance, though. We can see what the others are showing, if any of these are showing anything. Okay, this is only the Atlantic, so I can't show that. I don't think so. No, I can't. Oops. Alright, seeing if any of these others I can show. HAFS A, let me pull up. Whoops, Internest. Oh, okay. Sorry guys, just trying to pull up some more model runs to show you all. Oh man, okay, this has not updated at all recently. This has just been on Melissa, looks like. Okay, so looking at the other ones like the HAFS B model run, we can pull that up again. Please go to the most... Not really showing up on here. Let me do this one, maybe just HAFS B 2.0. Maybe that will show. I don't think so. No. Okay, it has not really been working in a while. Okay, then maybe HAFS A 2.1. This should work. Yes, this should work for our current system. If we go to the most recent model run, and we'll go to 90W. Where's it expected to go? Okay, this is a 5-day forecast. Let's see if we can look more at the system itself in terms of, let's do wind here. And this goes out only to 5 days, so this is the main run we were looking at earlier. This is a pressure of 901 millibars it peaks out as. Looks like there. You can see, though, the wind field there of tropical storm force winds is quite expansive with the system. And I thought that they were testing something with wind gust. Not quite sure where that is located at. I mean, that's a lot of stuff here. A lot of model data. Wind gust. Okay, there we go. Wind gust. How strong could those gusts be? Around 150 knots, I guess, at least. 175 mile an hour wind gust, at least, with the system. Wind gust already going to be impacting portions of the Bicol region here. That's the Bicol region on the southern end there, getting some tropical storm force gust being forecasted for you. Then let's pull up the... which one was I pulling up earlier? And I'd like to see the one that's a little bit farther out than just this. Which one was it? I think it was this one right here. It's this one for the system. And let's see if there's any other things we can look at. Yeah, we can look at potentially wind gust, yes. What kind of... Oh, yes, there we go. Wind gust. What kind of wind gust could be happening with the system? Let's see. And wind gusts of 140 miles an hour are being forecasted for this very strong wind gust. At least, man, look at that eyewall replacement cycle, though, that happens with the system. Much larger eye tries to form by the time it slams into the Babuin Islands, or the... Let's see what else here. Or the Batanes Islands. Very powerful storm. Let's see if we can pull up reflectivity. This man just undergoes an eyewall replacement cycle potentially there. Just much stronger storm. Man, that's pretty cool looking at it on here, though. Look at that eyewall replacement cycle that it undergoes when it peaks out there with a pressure of 892 millibars. Unfortunately, this does make the system a much larger threat. So again, even if you're not in the direct zone of impacts, you could be seeing still some pretty severe impacts with some of those outer rain bands, and the core of major typhoon force winds gets even larger. So just very concerning for you all in the Babuin Islands. You have already been hit once with a super typhoon. Let's hope this does not hit as a super typhoon there. They've already been devastated with catastrophic impacts. And, man, I've always hoped that my animation would not verify. I've just made those animations as hypothetical. The hypothetical ones is what I'm talking about, where some places get hit repeatedly That's always a possibility, and we always hope things like that does not happen. Okay, what else? Where's the MJO propagating right now? I'm not quite sure just yet. Michael, you can send me. I don't know where exactly. You can search it up somewhere. How to message someone on Discord. Just search up a YouTube video on that. Rainfall in Luzon. It's been raining for Bulacan there. Let's see. Luzon impacts from this current system. Yeah, a lot of these areas are getting rainfall from the system. Even Metro Manila getting some heavy rainfall, mainly just in some of those outer rain bands of Kalmaegi rolling through. That may be part of the death band we were talking about last night. The death band really has fizzled out a lot more. Yeah, the death band has fizzled out, but that it has caused some pretty major flooding for portions of Leyte. Oh, guys, I wanted to ask your question. Is it pronounced Leyte or Leyte? Or I don't. How do you pronounce it? Leyte or Leyte? Is Leyte pronounced Leyte? Leyte? Here, here I'll do. How is Leyte pronounced? I'll do a poll for you all. So there's going to be here. I'll do. Uh, then there's going to be number 2 here. So I like how people will just type the name of it without saying. Okay, let me do. Let me do it like this. I'm gonna do a poll here, and I'll say it. Karkar City. I'll answer your question in a moment. I'm just doing a poll real quick about how to pronounce Leyte, just because I want to make sure I'm doing this right. Um, okay, I think it's really just these two. All right. Oh, and then I'll do these 4. Okay. Just so that way I can try and get a better idea here. Okay, so here's a poll, and I'll say what they are. Okay, so number 1 is Leyte, number 2 is Leyte, number 3 is Lite, number 4 is Leyte. Which one of those is right? Oh man, why are you guys so conflicted on what? Okay, come on, just trying to see how is it pronounced. Number 1 is Leyte, number 2 is Leyte, number 3 is Lite, number 4 is Leyte. Okay, seems like it's Leyte. Yeah, okay. Sorry, one of my Spanish friends was saying it's like Lite or something like that. I'm like, I think it's Leyte. I've seen it pronounced Leyte. Um, yeah, so thank you for that. Okay, Karkar City. Where is Karkar City? Is that in Jamaica or is that in... See, I can try to figure that out. No, Karkar City is in portions of the Philippines. So, okay, Philippines in terms of those impacts you got. Oh man, okay. It did roll through pretty close. Uh, look through this again here. Yeah, so they probably got some bad impacts from this. Moderate impacts in the form of. Oh man, okay. Moderate impacts in the form of wind, likely typhoon force winds with potentially major typhoon force gust. They hopefully are fine. Things are going to be calming down there, so not much knowledge as to how hard hit they were. All right, thank you, Michael. All right, and again, guys, if you haven't already, please consider subscribing. I'm going to be doing more updates. I'm probably going to end the stream now. I'm going to have to wake up earlier tomorrow. Of course, Red Rum. Yeah, see, I knew it. It's Late. Okay. Thank you for that. So, okay, that gives me proof that I can tell one of my friends. All right, well, one last time, I do want to go over this. In terms of impacts again, though, from this system in particular, Kalmaegi or Tino will be delivering potentially major impacts as it rolls through western Visayas and Mimaropa, as well as potentially major impacts in portions of Vietnam. There will be most likely an update tomorrow on this system. In the meantime, though, you can follow me on these other social media platforms. You can follow me on X on @hurricane_chase. That's where I post the most. And if you have Instagram, if you use Instagram or if you just have it, please follow me on there at Hurricane Chaser Chase. It really helps out a lot. And on if you use Facebook or Blue Sky, you prefer to use one of those two platforms, you can follow me at there, Cyclone Tracking. And at Discord, you can join the Discord server at discord.gg/chases store, mainly if you're a weather enthusiast, if you like tracking weather. Michael, I'm not sure. Colin, that would take a while. Yeah, thank you, Richie. I do need to get some sleep. So, thank you all so much for watching, and I'm curious, who will I be seeing in the next live stream, either tomorrow or the next day? Who am I going to be looking out for in the live chat? Me, I know you, Richie. I mean, we gained 20 subscribers this stream. Thank you all so much. We're on track to reach 5,000. Yeah, for me, Johanna, I'm now in Eastern Standard Time, so that's made things a little bit easier for me. It's no longer 12:50 a.m. It's 11:50 p.m. for me. So instead of being 12 hours apart, we're now like 11 hours apart or so. All right. Well, thank you all so much for watching. I will see you all in the next update. Stay safe.